Woo! Yeah! Yeah, why? Yeah! What's going on, YouTube world? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Dusty, pretty cold out, and this is the Shred Academy. On today's episode, we're gonna talk about the two biggest problems that are hindering your cornering. And while cornering may not seem like a very fun skill, it's not jumping or drops or steeps, you gotta go through corners to get to all those features. And sometimes you gotta hit the corner well to have the speed for the feature that's right after it. So cornering might be more important than all those other things because you gotta do it first. The two biggest problems people have when cornering. Hey guys, please don't skip ahead. I am gonna talk to you about why I'm asking people to become Patreons, and I'm gonna break it down a little bit. As a under 10,000 subscriber channel, I rely heavily on my Patreons to basically make up for that 3/4 financial bit that my ad revenue doesn't cover. Van payments, insurance, cell phone, groceries, gas, my anxiety medication. And those don't include things like getting the dog to the vet, putting new handlebars on the 3-year-old e-bike that's had the same carbon handlebars bound to snap on me while I'm riding. Everything basically that allows me to wake up every morning and make content is very small. And out of the 6,000 subscribers that I have, or 6,000 plus, I only need 100 to 150 subscribers to become Patreons, either $5, $10, or $15 a month. At $5 a month, it's only 37 cents a day. And currently, when I have subscribers like Kevin Bennett, Leo Chen, Brian Turner, Oliver Malin reach out with generous PayPal tips, it helps bridge the gap, and it usually almost brings me to tears because we are usually just scraping by. I do feel like this content is helping people. I see it in the comments. I hear it when I'm in the lift line or see people on the trail, and I really feel like it's my calling, and I'm trying to work through the hard parts, but it's getting a little difficult. So if you can become a Patreon, if you can afford the 37 cents or the 50 cents a day to, do the little bit more a month, please help support the channel. But in no shape or form am I asking you to take on a financial hardship to support the channel. I know what it's like to be just scraping by, and I would never want that for anybody. So that's gonna take my spiel. I'm sorry that I keep putting these in there. It doesn't make me feel great to ask you to support the channel, but I really feel like we can do something special for mountain biking here. So let's get back to the content. Thank you for listening. The two biggest mistakes people make when trying to corner are not looking through the corner correctly, and they're leaning their body, not the bike. So today we're gonna quickly look at vision through corners, and then we're gonna break down some bad habits and body posture people have going through corners, and we'll talk about why we wanna correct those, and leaning the bike, not the body, is the most important skill you can start to conquer for cornering correctly and successfully, and most importantly, fast. Now, if you wanna get a video where I break down everything in cornering, go out to my catalog. I've got flat corners, I've got berms, and we break it all down in detail. They're quite long. But in this video, I'm gonna try to keep it pretty short. So with that in mind, let's go start to break it down. A good way to think about a good sight line on your actual mountain bike is to think about how you'd want to see GoPro footage. You want to see what's coming ahead. You wouldn't want to see GoPro footage that is pointed directly at the ground. You're not going to be able to see what's coming, and the rider looking at the front tire won't be able to anticipate
what's coming. A really great way to overanalyze this is on a skinny. If I'm only looking 3 feet ahead, how am I supposed to anticipate at any type of trail speed what to do after that 3 feet? It's a lot like driving on a highway in your car. If you're looking 10, 15 feet ahead, you're going to be able to anticipate and move out of the way around rocks, around something in the road. And with skinnies, you're going to be able to just to look straight ahead and meet your sight path. If your sight path is super short like it is here, your vision is only like that, so your ride path is going to be very sketchy. If your sight line is very elongated, even if you wander a little bit, it's going to be a lot more smooth wandering than very jagged wandering. Let's go have a look at a quick clip of some cornering with vision and see what it looks like to be looking at the ground and then to be looking through the corner, and we'll also give you some focal tip pointers. Having distinct visual checkpoints as you go through a corner will help you anticipate how to maneuver your bike when you're going through the corner. As you're approaching the corner, you want to be looking at the entrance of the corner. Where do you want to enter? Is there something on the outside that's stopping you from entering super wide? And then once you start to approach that entrance, starting to look at the middle of the turn. Am I able to ride high in the berm? If it's a flat corner, are there any rocks in the flat corner that I need to be aware of so it doesn't push me offline? And then as I reach the middle of the corner, I want to be looking towards the exit so I can see what's going to happen on the exit, and I can continue carrying the speed that I have acquired, having good visual markers at the entrance and middle of the corner. That way I can just scoot right around the corner and out we go. I will say I am getting used to my 360 cam, so these quick justs right here are me not getting good enough camera turn in editing. I am working on it. I'm sorry. It shall get better. Please bear with me. But you should get the gist. As you're entering the corner, you want to be looking at the entrance. And then as you get to that entrance, you want to be looking at the middle. As you get to the middle, you want to be looking at the exit so that you can keep this speed that you've created with good visual markers and proper bike position and carry it down the next straightaway. But if you're just looking at the ground in front of you, you aren't going to be able to anticipate what's coming at the exit or the middle. You'll just be looking at literally what is just a few feet in front of you. Just like a poorly positioned GoPro video mount, you'll be looking straight at the ground and really not seeing what's coming, and you'll be like that video watcher going, what's happening? Why is the bike moving around? Look ahead through the corner, at the entrance, at the middle, and at the exit. You're looking one step ahead from where you are. Before we start talking about leaning the bike over onto its side and why leaning the bike over is far more important than leaning the body over, let's talk about the simple anatomy of a tire. In the center, we have our basically riding down the trail knobs. These provide traction on straight sections of trail and grip while braking. Most center knobs will be ramped up at the front, and that is for acceleration. Now on the side, we have our cornering knobs. These knobs are sheerly meant for cornering. And to use these knobs, you have to lay the bike over on one side or the other to engage these knobs. If you're just turning the bar and steering, you're only using these for grip in the corner, and they are not going to help you track correctly through the corner. The biggest mistake people make when trying to corner it is leaning their body and not the bike. Really loved that goofy look at the end on that last one. Look at that. When you lean your body over, like you'll see me do here, you end up steering more than what's called cornering. Now, steering is turning the handlebars, either to the one side or to the other to result in a direction change. But cornering is more about leaning the bike over and engaging those side knobs that we talked about. So as you watch here, I go from one side and then I lean my body to the other side. Now, I'm not engaging any of those side knobs here. And in fact, I'm making it even harder to turn the handlebar to steer. If you look at this arm, it's completely tucked in, and this arm is way out there. So it doesn't put me in a very good body position to control the bike. And as we go forward, sure, I'm looking where I'm trying to turn. And I actually get a little bit of bike lean there. Look at that. Look at that mug. But it's not doing anything. I'm sorry, I don't know what that look was. We have to start to lean the bike over to engage those cornering knobs. We're gonna have a lap down some really small bermed corners, almost flat corners. Duncan leading, he's a ripper. To show you guys some examples of leaning the bike with and without the body. Now, right away here, we're gonna stop. We're gonna look at Duncan in front. He's actually got the bike leaned over with the body. Now, he also has a small backing here to be able to push against, so he can lean his body over. If we zoom back out, right here, you can tell that my bike is leaned over as well. As we continue down the track, Duncan ripping, he's gonna show off his manual skills right here.
Yeah, boy. Yeah,
Okay, and
boy.
I'm gonna stop right here. I'm gonna back up just for a second, okay? Duncan enters the corner very inside. Let's watch what happens to Duncan as we go through the corner. He's gonna have to push hard. Look at him leaning the bike over here. Okay, this is a perfect example. He's leaning the bike over. Look at his hips outside. That's putting downwards pressure on these cornering knobs here. Let's see how he goes through this corner. Okay, even still leaning that bike over. Great job. Continue looking at these hips. Notice how he's pushing his hips outside. He's not fully leaning over because these aren't massive berms. You can't match the angle of the bike lean with body lean unless you have a really high walled berm that you can really be pushing the G-forces into that wall. We keep going forward here. Super fun. Now, I'm gonna pause here because notice how I jumped up high. What that's gonna do is that's gonna open up this corner to make it a little faster. Duncan takes the inside. Let's see what Duncan's body does. He's gonna have to lean his bike over farther than I am. Okay, great example here. Can you see Duncan's hips on the outside and he's leaning the bike over? Leaning the bike and the body, but leaning the bike more. You're always gonna lean the bike more, 98% of the time. As Duncan goes through, we're gonna lose him. Oh, no, we won't. But we can definitely take a look here at how I'm leaning the bike over. Notice that my hips are kind of faced out this way. Let's see if we can get a better view of that really quick. Here we go. Bike leaned very far away from me. My hips on the outside, putting downward pressure on these cornering knobs as I leave and exit these corners to grab that extra grip. I'll go forward here. Okay, bike levels out. Let's see what Duncan does. Okay, leaning the bike over just a little bit. Notice how my hips outside. I'm leaning the bike over, engaging these cornering knobs. Body bike separation is extremely important to be able to lean the bike over. We'll continue going. Ripping down. Pause again. Look at the bike lean. Look at Duncan leaning the bike, and his weight is shifted to the outside. He's leaning the bike more than his body. Finishing this guy up. Last corner. So how do we start to learn to lean the bike over to engage those cornering knobs if we're used to leaning my body instead of the bike? The first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna start to lean the bike from side to side. Now, as you lean the bike, in this case, I'm leaning the bike to the left, your left arm is gonna straighten and you're gonna stand on the right pedal. Let's zoom in here. Your left arm will straighten as you lean the bike to the left. The bike will kind of move away from you, but you want to keep your body straight down on top of the bike to engage those cornering knobs. Super important. So back and forth. Now, like I said, whichever direction you're leaning the bike to, in this case, I'm leaning the bike to the left side. We're gonna call the left lean the inside. This will be the inside. So your inside arm, whichever way you're leaning the bike, is gonna straighten, and your outside arm should stay bent, but not fall in towards your body. Try to keep that outside elbow nice and wide so that it can have good pressure on the handlebar. And as I come closer, you can actually tell that this hand here is literally just resting on the bar as I'm leaning the bike to the left side. This arm here is doing all the control. If something were to hit the front wheel here, okay, and want to shoot the front wheel in the other direction or this direction, it's all that outside arm that's really going to be helping in these flatter corners. Berms might be a little different story, but that way you're more centered over the bike. As we keep rolling forward here, that bike lean can turn into a corner. But before we get there, how do we get really good at body bike separation? Quick little interjection. So if you lean the bike all the way to the one side and you're standing on that outside foot, you should essentially be able to let go of that inside hand, another pedal stroke, let go, stand on that outside pedal, lean the bike over, be controlling that bike with essentially the outside arm there, and keep going. Wave at the old camera. Now to continue this, attacking the trail in somewhat of attack position, there's that bike lean that I've initiated, and then as I start to look to where I want to go, lean the bike over, let the front wheel start to dip a very little bit towards the inside to create that arc using this outside arm to help direct this front wheel through the corner, making sure I'm looking in that direction. Look at these cornering knobs being engaged here. Now, as I go through this, boom. Okay, you can see underneath the tire, all my weight is pushing down on top of the bike to engage those cornering knobs. Now, sure, if I had a berm, I could also lean my body over a little bit farther because I'd have a backing here to help push the center knobs against.
Well guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you were able to take away a few good key points, maybe something you're not doing well and you can change, or something you're doing well and can continue doing. If you liked the video, please make sure to leave a comment and let me know. Make sure to share it with your friends and have them hit the subscribe button as well. We've got a goal of 10,000 subscribers this month in November. If it's no longer November and it's December, then it's still our goal in December. And then our next goal, like I said earlier, is to hit that 100 to 150 Patreon mark to really solidify us in this role as a content creator. I promise that if we can hit that mark and I no longer be just scraping by every week, I'll stop putting this stuff in my content, because trust me, it doesn't feel good being like, please help me, please help the channel. But I truly feel like it's helping people from the comments, people seeing me out at Mountain Creek and other places that I've met subscribers and viewers. Truly love seeing you guys and meeting you. If we can have a lap, great. If not, let's at least shoot the crap for a few minutes. If you and your friends want to grab a lesson or a private group lesson, let me know. I'd love to set that up. I'm very affordable and I'm pretty knowledgeable too, and I feel like I'm a pretty good in-person coach. So hit me up, let's set that up. It's getting hard to talk with how cold it is today. To end, as always guys, ride hard, ride safe, be kind to each other. We're all in this together, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take it easy.
Why am I pedaling this way? There's nothing out here. My man, the other direction.